Okay, it is 9 o'clock, so we don't want to waste any more time. So thank you, students who attended so far, for coming to the session. So today the session will focus on the AI bot, or rather the accounting GPT as we know it, which has been developed by Professor Stephen Coetzee, together with many other colleagues, I think, at the University of Pretoria. Stephen is a pioneer in this area. I was very impressed with his presentation a few weeks ago at the University of Pretoria. And he's developed, I think, this bot to assist students in terms of the knowledge, not just in terms of accounting, but also other disciplines like auditing, tax, managerial accounting, and finance. I'm just going to ask Stephen one or two questions before he begins his presentation on what the bot can actually do. So Stephen, welcome. I hope you're well.
Yes, thank you for having me. Good to chat to you guys.
Great. Stephen, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the AI bot and what it is.
Thanks. Well, the most important thing about myself is I grew up in Natal. So it's awesome to be chatting to all of you today. I miss my home province a lot. It's a great place. And UKZN is an awesome institution. I've known amazing people there over the last 20 years. So you guys are really in great hands down there. And then how I got into this bot is just, we've been in Pretoria University. We also have large classes of students, and we're always trying to look at ways to support the students better and individually and give them that personalized attention. And that's hard when you sort of one lecturer against 300-400 students. So a colleague and I started playing around with, I don't know if you guys will remember the messenger bots of Facebook in about 2018. So we developed messenger bots back then, but it was really early days, and definitely not AI as we know it today. And my colleague actually did a PhD in those messenger bots, and there's research papers out if you're interested in research papers. And then, with COVID and the isolation, and then GPT coming up at the beginning of last year, I think it was, we've just managed to move those bots onto a new level now.
Fantastic. Okay. So Stephen, from my side, I think I'm happy with the introduction. I know we've got limited time today. We've only got 30 minutes. So if you're happy, you can now move on to your presentation.
Yes, will do. So we'll watch the time. I know everybody needs to run off to classes and things like that. And I know PG DOS is a hectic year, so I will respect your time.
Yeah. So we're going to finish by about 25 past, I think, Stephen. It's about 3 minutes past now, yeah.
Okay, no, we'll do that. So just what I want to share with you guys, it is about the accounting bot that we've developed here in Pretoria. It's called AE Bot, and there are the URLs if you want to go and have a look and play around with it yourself later on. We've got a sister bot for it these days that we've developed with colleagues in Australia for the health profession. So if you've got friends or family members that are in the medical sciences, they can go and play around with that one as well. The functionality is very much the same. It just obviously focuses on the health professions and not accounting professions. So with that, as we've already mentioned, this bot is not just accounting, it's accounting broadly defined. So that includes auditing, tax, and all those things as well. So I want to speak about the bot and also just generally a little bit about AI in your education and in your future as chartered accountants. And I don't know, from a lecturer's point of view, that was sort of a lot of our reactions at the beginning of last year when ChatGPT came out. I don't know really how students reacted to it. I think there were similar reactions. It was a bit of the unknown. And I just chatted to some of my students the other day when I was preparing for this, just sort of asking them what their responses were. And the first one was obviously they saw this is a great opportunity to get help with homework, help with assessments, dare we say. And then they also expressed fear about the future of the profession and the future of their jobs. Would AI be replacing that? And I think the one thing we've realized about that is not going to be replacing the CA profession, not at all. But I think some messages that we need to get through, and we've chatted to our students here at UP at Tux about this, is AI is not going to replace you, but people that are using AI are going to replace you. So AI is there as a tool. You'll see my presentation started with Iron Man, and the Iron Man suit just makes a person better. And I think that's the way you need to be looking at AI. You need to be looking at it as a tool that's going to make you a better chartered accountant one day. Now, with that said, there's all sorts of things that you guys need to, with time, develop skills using the AI, because it's similar to doing a Google search, but perhaps even more sensitive. And I was chatting to a colleague in Australia the other day as well about this. And students that we've seen so far aren't the best prompters, aren't the best Google searchers. And we were wondering why that could be, and why somebody of my age could perhaps out Google one of you. There's the challenge extended. And we sort of came to the conclusion that you need knowledge already of a subject area to be able to do a better Google search. And the same is true with AI. You already need a bit of knowledge of the area to do a better discussion with the AI. And what we noticed with students using AI now over the last 18 months is the terms and the way you chat to it is sometimes very abrupt. For example, you see there on the screen a student was consulting about change in accounting policy, and that was their search term, change in accounting policy, which is exceptionally broad. And even on Google, it will have a hard time giving you the specific things that can really add value to your learning. And this whole prompting business is going to be super important for your professions, that you learn how to prompt, that the AI can support you better. We've always had the saying with Google, garbage in, garbage out. It's the same with the AI. The better you are able to prompt it, the better it's going to support you in your profession that you're entering soon. So I know PGW is hectic and you probably don't have time now, but write a note and stick it somewhere in your December holidays or something when you've got a bit more time again before you start working. You maybe want to just start digging into a little bit how to prompt, if you haven't already, how to prompt AI effectively and create effective prompts, especially for your profession going forwards. And at UP, we're already starting to help our students with that in creating prompts that supports you as a professional accountant to get you the answers you want. So a prompt like this, change in accounting policy, is going to get you very broad answers. So here we did it in the traditional chat GPT, and you'll see it's a very broad answer. It looks almost like IS 8 the way it's written out for you. It gives me the US standards. It gives me the South African IFRS. So it doesn't really help me that close. So that's why prompting is so important, that you need to be able to say you're a South African CA working on this company, perhaps in South Africa. This is the area of IFRS you're working. There is a change in accounting policy. It's going to be able to assist you a lot better if your prompt is more specific. So that is a skill you guys need to learn over time. But something we realized as teachers as well is we were teaching our students how to prompt as a CA of the future, not to prompt as a teacher. So there's still a bit of a gap there that we needed to support our students with. Because things like, and I'll show it to you just now, with a multiple choice question, there's actually quite a science behind writing a good multiple choice question. So you guys don't need to know that as PGW students. You're not education students. You're not in the education faculty. But doing a good prompt on that will help your learning. So that's where we sort of stepped in now with this extra tool, this AE bot, where we're trying to help you guys get well-designed educational responses to your questions. So the challenge to you is to learn still to prompt effectively for yourselves over time, for your profession, but we want to take it off your shoulders of having to worry about that teaching. I mean, you don't worry about how your teacher walks into the class and the education theories and things he's going to be applying to optimize your learning. That's not your responsibility. So that's what we're trying to do with the AE bot. So with AE bot, for example, the student put in the same query. It might be a bit small, but if you can see in the top there, change in accounting policy. And the answer was a lot more specific to the student. You'll see it doesn't mention US GAAP, it just goes straight to SA's IFRS, because the application knows you're in South Africa. It knows what level of student you are. So this would have been a second year student just getting into IFRS. So it gives you inventory examples, etc. It knows about IS 8, etc. So it's a lot more useful. The response is sort of what we're hoping for. That you're going to be getting back from it than you would get perhaps back from ChatGPT. You saw the initial ChatGPT response a while ago, and now this is the response you'd be getting from the AE bot. And this was based on a GPT model or two ago, so hopefully it's been enhanced since then as well. So when you get to AE bot, you can log in with any email password combination. You can create an account for yourself, or the simplest way is just to log in with your Google accounts. Many of us have those already. It just streamlines the process, but that's all up to you. We've got 2 tiers at the moment on this. There's the free tier with limited features, and then we've tried to create an additional premium tier and keep it as cheap as possible. Unfortunately, the thing does have costs. We do need to pay OpenAI for the language model. There's integrations with YouTube. Bless you. Sorry, guys, can you just mute? I think it's Luanda that's... Oh, there we go. We're all good. Okay, so you'll log in with this screen. And just to give you an overview, it works very much like a chat app, like WhatsApp or like ChatGPT or like Telegram or any of those messaging applications. So you can just chat to it. There's a chat bar at the bottom of the screen. And then I just want to run through some of the features. You'll see them in the red blocks that is now here that you won't generally find in the commercial ChatGPT product. So let's go through those one by one. The first one that we've added to this now, so apart from you getting accounting context questions, so with AEBot, if you try to ask it for advice of what is a good first date or something like that, it's not going to help you. ChatGPT will be your friend then. This is limited to, it's going to only respond to your accounting related questions. So what you can do is you can type a question in here, it'll give you an answer, and at the bottom of its answer, there'll be that little YouTube icon. So if you want additional visual explanation of that, if you click on that, what this one's going to do for you, it will create a search within YouTube based on the conversation so far, and it's already been programmed in the background to optimize the YouTube search to give you the best responses from that. So you don't even have to worry about the best way to search YouTube. And then it'll show you a few video options at the bottom about the chat so far that sort of relate to it. So if you need more than the conversation, that's something that you can play with and get extra value from. Just below those YouTube videos, you'll see in all the chats as well, it will always offer you a follow-up question. Because I know sometimes students ask a question and then they don't really know what to ask next, but there is something they still need. So it'll try and give you a follow-up question as well to keep the conversation going, to keep your learning going. Then the next feature I can point out to you is the multiple choice questions that we've got built into it. So based on what you're discussing with the bot at that point in time, if you want to test your knowledge, have you really understood the response the bot's given you? You can click on that little question mark picture and it'll come up with a real little case. And then the multiple choice options, and you can then discuss the multiple choice questions with it just to check that you do understand it correctly and where your knowledge levels are with that. Then something else we've got in here as well, you would have heard the words from Saka and everything. It's a bit of teacher jargon, forgive me for that for a moment. We call it authentic learning. You guys really want to learn about accounting in the world that you're going to be operating in soon. So we've got this little function in the bot as well. If you click on that little news icon on the bottom left-hand corner there, then when you go in, it will search for trending news at the moment across the world that's got some accounting relevance. It'll give you a short abstract of that news with a link to the news article if you want to read that news article yourself. And then it's going to give you questions about that are accounting based or tax based or financial management, whatever the case is, just to see how you are able to interpret that news through the lens of a CA. So that's just something else we've got there for you to play with. You can also upload images. So while you're working on your homework or something and you're stuck on something, you can take a photo of it, upload it in, and then the bot can hopefully help you with that. Then we've also got where you can upload a file. So if you've got a handout or something, you're working on questions, you can upload that handout. Just watch out for copyright permissions and things here. This is only available to you, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But you can then upload your handout, get questions and things back. What we've created for your teachers, if you want to chat to your teachers, and Prof Pillay knows about this as well, your teachers can upload the handout for you and give you a class code. And then you don't have to do the uploading and you can go and chat to that handout if you like in your own time. So when you're doing your homework and you can't get a hold of your lecturer, you can't get a hold of your tutor, the idea is that this will be there for you to assist you. And within that chat as well, something else to mention is just you can then email your tutor straight out of that chat or your lecturer if you're not sure or if you don't agree with the answer. Just on that as well, guys, when you're using ChatGPT or even using AE bot, this isn't a perfect science yet. So you've still got to have a good basic knowledge, and you've got to have that ability to think critically and think, this answer might not make sense. You can't just believe the AI at this point in your lives that it's perfect. I think it's going to improve exponentially, and it has improved already in the last 18 months a lot, but you always do need to have that critical awareness as a CA should when you're reading information. If your teacher does create the chat for you, they're going to give you a code, and then you just come and enter that code in here, and then the application will create a chat for you. It will have that material in the background that it can refer to as you're discussing it with your teacher. Then this is quite new, so it is still in a beta stage. What we're trying to do here is accounting. You would have seen now, you guys are PG Dust, you know that there's a lot of theory questions in accounting. And it's hard for us as lecturers to give you guys all very individual personalized feedback on all your theory questions. And I don't know about you guys in UKZM, but at UP, theory questions are a challenge for our students. So I was working with another PhD student on this, and we were trying to think about how can we get you guys individualized feedback when you need it on your theory and essay style questions. So this is now in the app. You'll find the link to this in the top left-hand corner of the chat screen. And it will take you through to this page. And the idea here is you can upload the question you're trying to answer. You can type it in or copy and paste the text in, or you can take a photo or upload the PDF. You can also upload the suggested solution if you've got it, and then upload your solution. And then also it asks you to think about it, sort of how do you feel you did in this question? What were the problems you perhaps had? Was there any specific challenges, like chatting to a tutor? And then is there anything in specific you want feedback on with this question that the AI needs to focus on? So you can put all of that in here, and then it's going to generate a feedback report to you, which we've now tried to program in the background based on all the literature and theories on good feedback and how to give students good feedback. We've tried to take care of all of that for you as teachers to give you a report then on your answer to that theory question. And at the bottom there, you'll see you're able to then discuss the feedback from the bots with it in a little chat at the bottom of the screen there to keep that feedback going. So if you don't understand something in the report or it hasn't really touched on something that was concerning you, you can try and chat with it down there. This is very early doors. We haven't tested it a lot with our students yet. We've tested it ourselves, and our PhD students run a study on this as well. So I'd be very interested if any of you use it. If you have any comments or stuff, please pop me an email on it, and we'll try and keep getting it better for you guys. But I think at this stage, it's already giving you better value than no feedback in the middle of the night on your theory questions. So yeah, I think I've rushed through that at quite a speed just to give you an overview. I think just play with it on your own. You're more than welcome. We started this off, the intention was to support our students at UP. Then in about last year, July, we noticed a massive increase in the usage of it. So I think the message started getting out to other students across South Africa as well, and perhaps internationally. So yeah, we built this thing for you guys. Any feedback you have, any requests you have, you can reach out to me there on social media, on my email address, and we'll keep trying to improve the tool for you guys to help your learning. Yeah, and get over that PG Dust hurdle for you guys at this stage. But if you've got friends in the lower grades as well, it might be of great help. We use it in particular at UP for our undergrad students. I'm not sure at this point how many postgrad students are using it. So let me know how it works for you if you guys want to try it. So yeah, that's my story. In a summary, you guys need to learn how to prompt. It's an important skill in your lives going forward. But we've got this tool here to try and support your learning in the meantime. Great. Prof Pillay, back over to you. I think we are running on time. I don't know if there's any questions.
Thanks for that presentation, Stephen. Really appreciate it. I have one question on my side from a student. I think Luyanda wants to know whether it will give you the reference to the paragraphs of the accounting standards when answering a question.
That's an interesting one. Oh, I'm trying to think if I've asked it that specific. It could possibly. If you want to guarantee that, what you can do, Leander, is you can download the PDF of the standard from the ISP's website and upload it, because then it will use that as a resource. But sure, I don't want to lie to you. I think I have tried that, and I think it has given me paragraph references in the past because it does access those resources. So it should be able to assist you with that. But please, if it doesn't, send me a mail and we can see what we can do in the background with things like that for you.
Great, thanks for that, Stephen. Stephen, I have just two questions on my side. Stephen, just on the training model, to what date was this? Is it now sort of up to date with which? How far is it?
Yes.
Which year or month is it in terms of its
Yes,
data?
okay. So at the moment, the GPT models are updated pretty much to the end of last year. What we're
Okay.
trying to do on here as well is the free version of this, because it's cheaper. The free version GPT 3.5 Turbo is powered by the GPT 3.5. The premium version on here is powered by GPT 4 Turbo, and that's quite a recent knowledge cutoff. I think it's actually March this year. So it is quite up to date. What you
Yeah.
can perhaps also, maybe I should mention this to everybody. Let me just find a slide that shows it. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner there, if you're getting answers that, for example, if you're asking about the new IFRS 18 and it's not giving you the information about that new standard, you can click that little Google icon, and then the AI will go and search Google and then use that to train itself with. So we're sort of compensating for any backlog of knowledge. But for you guys, I
Yeah.
think it's pretty much up to date.
Okay, that's great. And then, Stephen, I also want to know about tax and auditing. I know we've covered quite a lot of accounting.
Yes.
From a tax perspective, the legislative amendments that come through, I know there are always some type of tax changes that do happen.
Yes.
Usually in December of every year, we have those changes coming through, which have effect from in the following year. How well does this capture? Would that capture those changes up to December last year into its answers in this year?
Yeah, I had some tax colleagues that were playing around with it as well and using it for their students, and they were actually surprised at how up to date and how accurate. Listen, I haven't looked at the tax legislation in many years. I am in the IFRS space, but I know they put a challenge to it the one day I was demonstrating to it regarding VAT and tax implication of leases, which is apparently quite a challenging area, and they were quite happy with the answers that it was giving.
Yeah.
So again, there, I think you can put that in. And if you need more recent stuff than what it's got in its training model, but I think it should be, it's up to December minimum at this stage. But if it's not, hit that Google icon again, and that will give
Yeah.
you even more recent information.
Okay. And then I'm sure it has all the tax legislation that you need. So the income tax, VAT, PAYE, CGT, dividends tax,
Yeah, it should.
all the tax
From
tax
what
are
I've
there.
heard from the colleagues in taxation, it seems to be handling that quite well.
Okay. Okay, it's wonderful. And then presumably from the auditing space as well, you have updates up till December 2023 for all auditing standards also.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Let me just see if we have any more questions from the class. How do we install or access it? So Stephen, I think we can just access it on the website. Is it
Yes, it's a
accounting?
web app. So you just go on your web browser on your mobile device or on your laptop or whatever you access the internet with, into an internet browser. That screen will come up, and you can use it from there. So it's an accounting education, one word,
Yeah.
.co.za.
Yeah. So accounting, I think we put that up in our learning platform as well, in our online platform. So it's accounting education. .co.za.
There it is.
Okay.
There. You can try the aebots.com, just a little dash in between the aebot.com. I just know for some reason at UP, the firewall blocks that one, but it's fine if you go through the accountingeducation.co.za.
Okay, that's
So there are
fantastic.
two options.
I'm just checking if we have any more questions at the moment coming through in the class. Okay, I don't see anything else coming through on the class side. I don't see anything else from anybody. So thanks, Stephen. I think we've got our questions more or less sorted out. We're going to go ahead with implementing it at PGDA level at least, so they have access to it. And we put it on. And then we have any queries, I think we're going to come back to you on that. But
Yeah,
I'd
look,
really like to thank you once again for coming through. and spending your time, your valuable time with us. We know academics life is always hard. It's not easy. So we really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to have you soon again for undergraduate students as well, just to get them access to it as well.
Yeah, no problem. I look forward to it. And good luck to the Sharks this weekend.
Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
good
Appreciate
day
it.
ahead. Yeah, cheers. Bye.